In this video, we're going to be looking at 12.2, changing terms with a lump sum payment. Now, in summary of lesson 12 so far, we're looking at changing the terms of a loan. Changing terms of a loan comes about when there's a change in one part of that loan. So you may have got out a loan and then the interest rate changed. That's what happened in the last example there in 12.1. In this case, we're going to do something called a lump sum payment, which is a one-off payment somewhere during the loan, and we're going to see what the effects are made on this. Okay, so let's have a go through this question now. And my iPad doesn't really want to listen to my finger, so I'll just go to something else and come back. There we go. So Joanne borrows a sum of 380k. Interest in the loan will be calculated and paid monthly at the rate of 6.35% per annum. The loan is to be fully repaid in equal monthly instalments over 20 years. Determine the monthly repayments to the nearest cent. So much like in the previous example, we just need to work out what the monthly repayments are. If they don't tell you whether you should do a recursive rule or finance app, just go to the finance app. Typically it's easier. So N, I, PV, PMT, FV, payments per year, and compounds per year. Now let's fill out what we know. She borrows 380k, so that's positive. The payments is what we want to solve. We're going to draw an arrow there. FV is going to be 0 because she's paying off the loan. The payments per year in this case are monthly, and the compounds per year are also monthly. We want to work the interest rate, which is 6.35%, and we can see that the N value is going to be 12 times by, and it's going over 20 years. So in the end we have 240. Let's put this in the finance app. Let's find out what payments are required to pay this loan off in 240 installments. Okay, here we go across, finance, clear the page, and let's go. 20 times by 12, 6.35, 380k, and we don't know that yet. That becomes 0, the final value, and these are 12. Click the payment and we get negative 2799.72. Now this represents how much they have to pay every month. So let's answer that question now. So therefore, the monthly repayments are per month. Now remember, it's negative because that money has to come out of your wallet and pay this account, as in you're paying off the loan. Okay, next question. Calculate the total interest that we've paid over the 20 years. Now in this case here, you can go sum of payments and then deduct the principal and everything. You can do it that way. What I'd recommend doing is using the amortization app instead. So we're going to do the slow way, sum of payments, right? And then we take off the PV, and that works out the sum of interest, but I'd recommend using the other way instead. Okay, so the sum of payments, we've got 240, lots of 2799.72, and our original pay was 380k. Okay, so when we whack that in, we go 240 times by 2799.72, and then we're going to minus off that 380k, and we get 291,932.80. Okay, so the sum of the interest, and this is this way, is 291,932.91. Now I'm going to use the amortization app. I much prefer this way. It's very fast. So here we go. Now, if you're on the finance app, typically you're on compound interest here. We're going to choose amortization instead. PM1 is where you're going to start counting from. So we're going to start counting from with payment period 1. We're going to count all the way to when the loan finishes, which goes up to 240. Okay, that's 20 years in. Click the sum of interest and you get 291,932.92. Okay, now you may note that's exactly the same answer. So I'm just going to put my working here. Now all I need to change here is sum of interest PM1 to PM2, 1 to 240. I click this and out came this answer. Okay, and you can see here that that was a lot easier rather than doing our other method. Next question, how much interest does Joanne pay during the first 5 years? Okay, we're going to use amortization again. So PM1, we're going to start counting from installment period 1. And then PM2, we're going to stop counting when we get 5 years in. Now, 5 years in represents, remember their monthly payments, so 5 times 12, we're looking at 60. Okay, that comes from 5 lots of 12. Then we're going to click our sum of interest. Okay, and that will get our answer. So let's go back, let's do that. And you can see here, it's just so nice to use this app. Sum of interest, 112,444.61. Okay, and that's our amount of interest we pay there. So what's this saying is after 5 years, this is how much interest has accrued on your account. It's a fair bit, isn't it? So already after 5 years, you've accrued $112,000 and the loan itself is only $380. So you can see the dangers in borrowing money. And this isn't, this interest rate of 6.35% doesn't sound remarkable, does it? But the compounding effect over time, it can really, really change that amount. Let's look at D now. By how much has the principal on the loan decreased over the first 5 years? So what we can do here is that's just looking at our FV. Okay, so after 5 years, what's our FV, basically? So go calc, back to compound interest. Now this is after 5 years, so 5 times 12, click at FV, and now it's negative 324,461. Okay, so FV is negative 324. Oh, missed that too. 324,461.38. Now it's saying how much did it decrease by. Apps, they love those keywords. So how much has it gone down by? Well, it started at 380. Now you only owe 324K. So the difference between the two is going to be how much it decreased by. So I'm going to go 380K take, and I'll just label this. This is the balance after 5 years, and that's going to be 60 months. Okay, now I'm going to take away this amount here, this balance after 60 months, and we can see it's decreased by, and check in your calculator. So it's decreased by $55,538.62. Okay, so we've investigated a few things here, but we haven't done a change in terms of the loan part yet, and that's what this part is here. So at the end of the 5th year, Joanne makes a one-off lump sum payment of $5,000. Okay, now what that means is he just puts that into the account. No other changes are made to the loan conditions. How much time will be saved in repaying this loan as a result of this lump sum? Now we know that originally it's going to take, and we can have a look up, what was it, 240 months or 20 years. So it originally took 20 years or 240 months. Now our aim is to figure out how long it's going to take now. Now it's a changing term of loan. Our first part is the first 5 years of the loan. The next part is the remainder. Okay, so let's have a look. First thing, we've got NI, PV, PMT, and FV, payments per year, and compounds per year. Now, we've already done a lot of this work. Remember, N was going to be 60, I was 6.35%, our PV was 380k and it's positive. Our payments we worked out was negative 2799.72, and we worked out our FV as being, and I'll put this in a different colour, negative 324,461.38, and these are still 12. Okay. Now, do you remember what we talked about with loans? With changing terms of loans, we break this up into two parts. We have our first part here, and this is our second part of the loan, the remaining time of the loan. Okay. Now, what's changing here? It's a lump sum payment, right? Now, normally what we do is we bring that FV and we make it our new PV. The thing is, she's actually making a lump sum payment of $5,000. So basically, she's going to be subtracting another $5,000 off that current balance. So what value are we going to see here? We go 324,000, take that 5,000. So our new balance, the new remainder of the loan, how much she has to pay off, is 319,461.38. You see I've just subtracted $5,000 off that, and everything else remains the same. We just want to solve for N. And we want to pay off the loan, so that's going to go to 0. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change all these colours to green, the things that haven't changed, just so it's a bit easier to see. Now the orange things have changed. Oops, I've really miffed this one up. Let's try again. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to solve on how long it's going to take. Okay, so we're trying to figure out how much time is saved. So here we go. Let's go into a finance app. I'm going to clear that. Now this new loan is going to be positive 319,461.38, and we're paying off the loan, so we'll go to 0 and we solve for N. 175.43. 175.43. So this is our new N. 175.43. So how is this going to change everything? Well, we can see that originally it was paid in 240 months, whereas the new time, based on this lump sum of $5,000, is going to be 60 plus 176. Remember to round this up, because it will take 176 months to finish the remainder of this loan. So overall, our new time is going to be 236 months. What's the difference? Simply putting in $5,000 5 years in has saved 4 months in time off this loan. Okay. So we figured out how much time will be saved, 4 months. Now, how much does Joanne save in interest charges by making the lump sum payment? We're just going to figure out how much she's paid using one account and compare it with how much she's paid using the other. Okay, so here we go. The sum of payments, and this is the original, is going to be, we've got, originally it was 240 payments of 2799.72, whereas the new one is going to be 235 lots of 2799.72 plus this final payment. So there's always that final payment that comes in. Okay, now over here, this amount goes to 671,932.80. And over here, we're going to have to work out that final payment before we can finish it. So remember this final payment here, it's going to be the 176th value here, right? So we just go up one there. So let's go to our finance app, go 176, press FV. We've overpaid by 1606.05. Okay, so let's work out that final payment. 2799.72 minus that 1606.05. Let me just double check that once more as well. Yes, great. All right. Now, if we put that all together, we have a sum of payment as being $659,127.87. So what's our savings? We can say Joanne has saved in total $12,804.93. Now that is remarkable. Think about that. Only 5 years into this loan, she put in $5,000 of her own money that she must have saved or something like that. And in doing so, she saved $12,800 extra of interest that the bank would have originally charged her. So you can see the effect of putting more money into your home loan early. Thank you. I hope this video has been useful. In the next video, we're going to be looking at your turn. So you'll be watching that video and then, or basically working through the question and then pressing play and seeing if you got it right. Thank you for your time.